Hey, I'm here in Volunteer Park in Seattle with Devin treating some Dutch elm disease here. This rig caught my attention over by the spray pool or whatever you call that thing. And look at what's going on here. Devin, how are you?
I'm alright.
Great. Can you tell me what you're doing here?
Yeah, so I'm treating this Dutch elm for Dutch elm disease. I'm drilling a bunch of holes and plugging them with my harness here, and then I'm going to pump 28 gallons of mostly water and a little bit of fungicide into the elm here to give it to prevent it from getting Dutch elm disease. Dutch elm disease is pretty much affecting every species of elm in America. If it's not already being affected by Dutch elm, it's either being treated by it or being treated for it. The disease shares from tree to tree through its roots, and how it gets infected is beetles that bore into the top branches. So we have to pump enough that the liquid gets all the way up to the top of the tree and down to the roots.
Can you explain to me sort of what is going on here?
So all these little plugs here I drill into the tree, and these little plugs get seated into there, and then with my pump here I pump the liquid through these plugs into the tree.
And how long does the treatment take?
Oh, it can take anywhere between 30 minutes to 5 hours. Just really depends on the weather and how much the tree wants to take it up.
How do you think the tree in the immediate moment receives meaning, what's your take on the sort of tree's acceptance of what you're doing?
I mean, it accepts it pretty well. So the reason we drill into the bottom here, into the root flare, is because that is the fastest healing wood. So it usually seals over those holes pretty quickly, usually within a year, and it doesn't cause it a whole lot of damage overall. It's all we're doing is pumping. It's basically like an IV. We're pumping liquid into its veins. So in the way, it's also getting hydrated when it's really hot.
Which today is in the mid-90s.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the tree's generally pretty happy about it. I'm sure it doesn't like the holes in it, but you know, I don't like getting IVs, but it helps.
Yeah. And basically, if this treatment were not applied, then the tree would be in jeopardy of dying?
Yeah. So once a tree gets Dutch elm disease, it's pretty much terminal. It is a slow decline, but there's no treatment for it once it's affected by the disease.
Oh. And how old do you think a tree like this is?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, it's probably...
It's a giant tree.
It's pretty big. It's about 48 inches in diameter. So, I mean, I'd say for an elm, it's actually pretty young. It's probably only about 50, 60 years.
Really?
But, I mean, for us humans, that's pretty old. But for a tree, it can live a long time.
Wow, and so you said this is a 2-year treatment?
Yeah. So the treatment is usually good for about 2 to 3 years. Yeah. And it's a preventative treatment, so it's not a cure. It's just, the equivalent to like a booster shot against the flu.
So there's you're saying that it's already spreading, it's likely that it would get it anyway if it weren't treated?
Yeah. So if it wasn't being treated, this one and that one, whichever one got it first, would share it with each other, and then they would decline pretty fast.
Wow. So this is a Dutch elm tree.
Yeah.
And we're here in Volunteer Park, which is a pretty special collection of trees.
All right.
Sweet. So what do people need to know at the heart of it and about Dutch elm disease? Anything that you think people generally need to be aware of?
Well, if you got an elm on your property, you want to look for the signs if it's not getting treated. What you're going to see first is in the upper canopy at the very top, you're going to see some yellowing leaves. Almost like this. This isn't Dutch elm disease, this is a leaf borer, but you're going to see kind of the same thing in the leaves at the very top, and it's going to, die from the top down. So if you see any elms on your personal property declining, you can always call your local arborist or local tree company to come and check it out. There's lots of treatment options, but if you are seeing those signs, it might be a good conversation to talk about removing it. But, that's for you and the arborist to discuss, not me.
And so are you just constantly, is this your primary job, or are you an arborist this is just one of many tasks?
I'm not a certified arborist yet, but we have my company, Bartlett Tree Experts, we have a contract with the city to treat 51 birch trees in the park. So that's just a big chunk of my job this month, is treating these beautiful trees.
But this is an elm?
You
said birch.
Oh, sorry. elm tree. Birch trees are also getting injected for something else, and that's its own problem. But yeah, elms. We're doing 51 elms.
Got it. Do you have any sense of what the sort of health of the tree cover of the city of Seattle is like at this point in time?
Oh no, not really.
Meaning just the overall health of the urban forest here?
I mean, it's pretty healthy. I mean, I don't have that kind of raw data available, but through Bartlett Tree Experts, we try to treat what we can. Anyone that comes to us, we try to give them a fair bid and treat their trees. I'd say the biggest concerns right now are birch trees and elm trees. You know, the bronze birch beetle is destroying our birches, and we treat that. And Dutch elm disease destroys our elms, and we're treating that. I think we're doing everything we can.
Cool. Anything else people need to know about this contraption or this process?
Well, don't try it at home. Just
What's in the solution that you're putting in there?
It's a fungicide. The exact type of fungicide, I don't know. I could read the label, but
Yeah. All right. Sorry to take your time, but thank you
hey,
for
no
telling me
worries.
what's going on. This is quite a contraption.
Yeah, no, it's I get you, that's for sure.
So you drill the holes and then you pump like an IV the fungicide into the base, and that goes up the tree.
Yeah.
Wow. And a car battery is just running the pump. And this is the fungicide.
Oh, that's the deionizer. So we have to deionize the water, make it get absorbed by the tree easier.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. Thank you, Devin.
Yeah, of course. Have a
So
great day.
I'm Len Davis. I'm a Seattle-based filmmaker here in gorgeous Volunteer Park on Capitol Hill, and was walking by and just saw this funky setup and wanted to know what was going on here. Stay fresh, y'all.